All right, let's get into it.
A few days ago, I put out a story on Instagram asking you guys to ask me some questions to launch the first Q&A and first video on this YouTube channel. You guys pulled through.
So welcome everybody who's here. Super glad to have you here, and I'm super excited for what's to come. If you drop a comment on this video, I'll get back to all of them. Without further ado, starting out with question number 1, what board do you have? My favorite board right now is the Lost 6-foot RNF 96. The volume, I believe, is 37 liters, and that's the board that I've been riding every single day. But the board behind me is a board that everything started on, which is a 7.6 Lauren Yater Fun Shape. Those are the two boards I ride mainly. The next question is from Paul Arthur LMS. Will you come surf in France someday? I've seen some incredible videos of surfing in France, and honestly, don't know anything about it, but I would love to go travel around to France, Indonesia, Mexico, anywhere with good surf. I'm happy to go. I'd love to. From Reed Mason, are there any tips or cues to look for that helped you improve the most? The biggest thing that helped me improve the most, which I would recommend to anyone who's getting into surfing, starting out, beginner, no experience, is go to a beach break and just practice on fast waves where you have to pop up really quick. Anywhere where it's not so crowded is better because you don't really want to get into anyone's way when you're first starting out. So that's probably the easiest thing to do and the best advice I have. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Carfleet H, what's your favorite food? Also, hypothetically, can anyone start on any board? My favorite food is probably tortellini, pasta. Love tortellini, favorite dish in the world. Can anyone start on any board? Theoretically, probably. I know people who start on short boards and did just fine. I wouldn't recommend it just because it's a lot harder. You're just not going to catch as many waves, and that's going to hinder your progress. I just think if you can get on like an 8-foot soft top, first of all, the barrier to entry is really low because you can just go get a cheap board from like Costco or from Facebook Marketplace for like $100. It's foam, so you're less likely to hurt yourself versus like this board is extremely hard. If you get hit by it, it hurts really bad. Although I do think if you do start on a hard board or like a smaller board, you might progress faster. It's really a toss-up. I think you could really start on any board if you want to. I just think there are some boards that are easier to start on than others. So have I tried surfing on a wave pool? I would be super down to do this in the future. For now, I just don't know if there's one even relatively close to me. Maybe if I go down south or up north, there will be one. But in LA, I don't think we have a wave pool. So for now, I haven't tried it. Definitely would be into it. What surf skate do you have and how has it helped you in surfing? I have a Carver. The exact specs I have on my Carver, it's a 30.5-inch puddle jumper surf skate. Overall, surf skate, super helpful to get better at pumping and also just turns. So absolutely 100% recommend getting one. What job do you have that allows you to surf consistently? Do you surf before or after work? This is one thing that I feel like a lot of people probably wonder because I make videos surfing almost every single day. And luckily, I'm super fortunate with my job. I own my own business. I work with creators, I work with startups, brands, etc. on their social media content. So this is just something I've been doing for about 6 years total. Over 2 years I've been running my own business in it. I do surf before and after I work, so most of the time I'll wake up at like 6 o'clock, drive to the west side of LA, go to the beach, go surf till like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then head back home and work for the rest of the day. Or if the conditions are good, I'll also just end work a little bit early, and then around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I'll go and I'll drive to the beach and I'll go surf. When did you graduate from whitewater to green waves? Any tips on doing so? I actually never surfed whitewater just like by itself. I have always just gone straight for the waves. When I first started, I had no idea like where to start with surfing. I literally went with one friend once and then bought a board and started going every single day I could by myself. So I just went for like days so that it was 1 to 2 feet, 2 to 3 feet. I didn't go in anything bigger than that, and I just started popping up, going straight. If you go back and you watch my first videos, you'll see that I literally just popped up on normal waves and just went straight. Never just like surfed the whitewater. Is the transition from longboard to shortboard hard? In my experience, the transition wasn't super difficult, and the main reason is because throughout my entire kind of surfing journey, I would say, I've tried friends' shortboards. The first board I ever tried was a shortboard, although I couldn't pop up. Throughout the entire time, I've been borrowing people's shortboards just to like kind of see how I would do. For me, the hardest thing about getting on a shortboard was just like the positioning on the board itself. Other than that, the transition was pretty seamless, although I'm still working on a lot of things. I'm not like a super good surfer yet. How great is it to have a board you can duck dive? Literally the best feeling in the world is being able to duck dive bigger waves. 5 months ago, I was out on this board, the Lauren Yater and a wave basically crashed on my head when I turtle rolled. I thought I was concussed. It freaked me out. It was like one of the worst experiences I've had surfing. Being able to duck dive has completely changed the game for me. That's one of the reasons why I want to get on a shortboard as fast as possible. What inspired you to start surfing? Oh God. If you go back and watch some of my other videos on Instagram, you'll actually see kind of a little bit about the story. A year and a half ago, I took a trip to Puerto Rico and I was literally sitting on a beach in Rincon, and I think it's called Rincon. And I was just watching people pull into these like really small barrels. I have footage of it. And in that moment, I was like, holy crap, I really want to learn how to surf. I always lived on the East Coast. I lived like over an hour away from the beach. Yeah, that moment though in Puerto Rico, it inspired me. And then I wanted to take a trip to Florida, got dissuaded maybe, if that's a word, from going because of sharks. And then just so happened to get lucky enough to move out to LA. And when I moved to LA, I met a friend who surfed, and then eventually he brought me surfing, and then I was just hooked. So what are the biggest waves you've ridden by Levi? The biggest waves were probably in Hawaii when I was there. I don't know, like the scale from Hawaii to California is insane. Like it's not the same. Like what we call 1 to 2 feet here is like not even a foot wave there. And also what they call like 3 to 4 feet feels like overhead. So the biggest waves were probably in Hawaii. Would you go on a surf trip? Where would be the first place? Surf trip, first place technically would be Hawaii. I have a friend who lives in Oahu, so I'll probably go back and do a surf trip there in the next few months. But other than that, I don't know. Drop a recommendation for a place to go on a surf trip and maybe I'll do it. Laura B. Mitchell asks, where are you planning on going when you decide you're ready to get a barrel? There are a few beaches in LA that do get like really hollow, and I'll be going there. It's just a matter of like the right swell, and also I believe the one that I want to go to is mostly left-handers, so I've been working on going left. Once I feel confident going left and I can pump left, then I'll probably go for the barrel there. If it happens though, like when we get a really nice swell in a place that I don't expect it, then it happens. Like at Porto is where I've gotten the closest to getting barreled. Zuma, I've gotten the closest to getting barreled. You know, if it happens when I'm there, it happens. Other than that, there are a few spots in LA I'm trying not to talk about it too much. What was the hardest setback in learning how to surf? I injured my ribs, and originally I thought it was a bruised rib, and then after kind of looking into it more and also like stretching it out and kind of seeing how the pain has evolved, it's got to be like an intercostal, if that's how you pronounce it, muscle tear. I've been out of the water for now about a week and a half. I'm hoping to get back in the next few days. It still hurts, but it's less painful, and it's kind of like just been stretching it out. That's the most frustrating and hardest setback so far, because I literally can't go surfing, and I went from going every single day to not going at all for the past week and a half, which is super frustrating. Any interest to nose ride? At some point, maybe. For now, not really. I'm not really looking to get on a longboard. Will Max says, has someone ever been mad / yelled at you while surfing? I haven't been yelled at while surfing. I've had friends that I'm with get yelled at, but personally, I've never had anyone who like got super pissed off and yelled at me. I have had one person who asked me if I could get out of their way in like the politest way. Other than that, I've never had a bad experience. What spot are you usually at? El Porto. How do you get your duck dives deeper? This is actually a really good question. I've seen some really incredible videos of people who like kind of push down, pull themselves down to it, push down, pull themselves down to it. I'm not good enough to actually give advice on this. I'm sorry. Can you show your GoPro setup? So I'm currently using the GoPro to film this. The GoPro 12. On the GoPro, I have the Max Lens Mod. This is like a scratched one that I have. And then how I film, I have this, which probably covered in dust right now. Floaty on it. I have it vertical to get a better angle. When you first started surfing, did you consider yourself a strong swimmer already? Older siblings were both lifeguards, so they kind of like pushed me to be a better swimmer. Although I wasn't like an incredible swimmer. I will say though, since I started surfing, I've kind of taken more time. Like any chance I'm in a pool, I practice swimming, practice holding my breath. Have I ever surfed Huntington? From Gaines Eric. Yes, I've surfed Huntington. It's kind of a drive. It's like a 2-hour drive on most days for me. Once you're able to maneuver the board well, how do you start riding the wave sideways? To go down the line, you basically just angle your pop up, and that's the best way to do it. How did you get your foot placement right? Just a lot of practice. I spend like 2 or 3 hours surfing every day, so do you ride left? I do, not oftentimes on camera just because it's not as fun to watch. What's your dream surf spot? Malibu First Point with nobody out there. What's the worst injury you've suffered from surfing? Probably this muscle strain, but I have like some decent cuts on my ankles and my toes just from like rocks and also from fins. If it weren't for this, that would be the worst, but this probably takes the cake. Are you gonna come surf Hurricane Swallow this fall in New England? I will be back in September, so we'll see. I'm back for like 10 days. That's everything, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Other than that, if you want to see more surfing content, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see. Subscribe, share this with a friend. I appreciate all of you. Seriously, it's been incredible so far, and I'm super excited to see what happens in the future. So stick around, find out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.